right? And I find it amazing the career that you've created for yourself. Can you say, how did you go from voiceovers to being Kuya Kim?
Um, Robert, it's a long, exciting journey. Life is like a box of chocolates. You really never know what you're gonna get. But I did start out as a voiceover artist because it was good money then. I was doing commercials, and then I was the voice for Maskman. Maskman was one of the first animes showing in the late 80s up to the early 90s. And then my first job in ABS-CBN was the voice of Ultraman and Magma Man. And aside from that, I was doing a lot of voice commercials. I was the voice for Miller Cigarettes. I was the voice for Beer and Beer when they just launched it in the late 80s. That was my racket. And then the racket was good.
Yeah.
Deep in my heart, I really wanted to be on cam. I really wanted to be a TV star. Except that in our time, in the 80s, the peg for TV star was Agamulak and Richard Gomez and Robert Galhagan. You're so guapo, man.
Ah, well.
Man, I'm not naman ugly, but I'm not that handsome either. Tama lang, eksakto lang. And that had no place absolutely on television in the 80s and 90s. But I kept on auditioning. There were so many auditions, di ba? Whenever a new commercial would be produced,
Man.
we always had notices in Mascom because the guys and the girls in Mascom were always guapo or maganda eh. And Rob, I went to all of those. And out of the 20 that I went to, no one got me, not even one. But Noel Malyonga, who was the auditioner, noticed that I had a distinct voice. Sabi niya, Kim, your voice is not announcer-like, but it's very distinct. I think I'd like to try you out as a voiceover artist. Let me just turn off the electric fan. It's a bit noisy.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, for those of you who don't know Noel Malyonga, I idolized this guy. Noel Malyonga was Big Bert, Big Bert. He was the voice of Big Bert, and this was a really cool guy.
Yeah, he was the voice of Big Bert in Walter 5.
And he looked like him. He was a big guy.
He was like Big Bert.
Yeah.
And then his partner then in that voiceover company was Chito Vicente. Chito Vicente was one of the voices in Voltes 5 as well. Not Steve, but the other guy.
Yeah, I just remember Chris. Chris
Vertido. Chris Vertido.
The voice of Mark.
Chris Vertido was Mark. Yeah. Chris, they're all one group and they were trying out voiceover artists. No? So I got discovered because my voice is not announcer-like, yet it was distinct to be remembered. So I got the role of Maskman, Red Mask. So Red Mask! And
I was going to say sample.
Red Mask. And then, but not only that, because everything was on a budget, per taping kasi it was like 500 pesos eh.
Wow.
You're supposed to be versatile to be doing other voices as well. Yeah. So I was doing Red Mask, but I was also doing the contrabidas. The main contrabida of Red Mask is Dargan. And Dargan is a big guy. So I needed a big muscular voice. So Dargan's voice is like this. Kamahalan, ang Maskman ay 5. Kinakailangan mamatay silang lahat. That's how he spoke. So I had my regular voice. I had my other voices as well. That made me so versatile. And I was so happy because in college, Robert, I was earning about 10,000 pesos a month already.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
wow. I remember I was earning 8,000. I had 2 jobs. I was a writer for Going Bananas. And with Gigi Alfonso Osige, I was earning 8,000. And I felt rich. I could move out. 10,000 is a lot. That was a lot back then.
Man, 8,000, 10,000 back in the 80s and the early 90s is equivalent to maybe 80,000 now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that was big money. That's why I never finished college, Robert, because I started working early. And I figured I'm earning already. Why finish? I'm studying to be in the field of mass communications. I already have so much work in mass communications. So why should I study pa? That's what I do.
No, I completely agree. Actually, I finished. I think I finished. I'm pretty sure I finished. But I never went to the graduation. And I was like, it was just, college was in the way of
work.
Doing it. Yeah, I interviewed Albert Cuenca, and he also said he never finished college.
Yeah.
And I tell people, college doesn't have the same value today that it had years ago, no? Because we have instant access to information, and
yes,
you know, and well, for the longest time, I was telling people there's nothing I learned in college that I'm using now for my
For
career.
your work. Yeah.
Yeah, until 5 years ago. Now with social media, everything I learned in college is coming to life now, you
You can
know?
Google anything now. Eh?
Well, yeah, you could learn anything, but I tell people college is there you have to be in it for the right reason. But you know,
Mm,
you entered mass comm because you wanted to learn about mass communication and
mm.
media, but we were in it. We were in it.
We were in it. And then you know what else people don't know pa? In 1986, ABS-CBN was given back to the Lopez family, remember?
Oh man, that I remember
And
that time. Yeah,
that time, so it reopened, and there was a need for all ano for all talents, no?
yeah,
Behind
yeah,
the scene, camera, filmmakers, talents, and everyone from ABS was invited because our teachers were Charo Santos.
yeah.
Gigi Alfonso was there, who's also
Channel
very
Nine.
immersed in
Yeah,
the field. Yeah. So a lot of our batchmates went to ABS and started working there and are now bosses in ABS-CBN. I'll
yeah,
give you an example. Lauren Diogi is now the head of entertainment. Lauren was the same in 1986. He was invited to ABS to work, and now he's one of the bosses in ABS-CBN. Linggit Tan was from Mascom, and then she's now a boss in ABS-CBN. Alu Almaden, marami, puro mga UP graduates o hindi nakatapos sa UP, nagtrabaho na kaagad sa ABS because ABS-CBN had a great need for talents.
yeah.
But then, yeah,
And
sorry.
me, I was a boss in ABS-CBN.
Yeah, and
But I
you
quit.
also.
I quit.
Right. No, but you nga, I envied you because you had on-cam breaks. And
I
I
did.
remember when we were in college, you were part of Platoon. Eh.
I did.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, imagine you're the only Pinoy who had a speaking role, although you died in Platoon. And man, in Mascom kasi, if you land a gig like that, you're sikat, man. You're popular. Sabi ko, Robert, my friend, has become so popular. Man, I want to be like him. You were so aspirational. No, but we ended up good friends and we hung out together all the time.
No, hey, wow. You know, I mean, it's amazing looking back. I mean, I also remember Augie, you know, Augie was just starting to
Yeah.
get his breaks then. And then he was teasing me because I was on TV, like, ooh, Rob, sikat na, like that. I was like, you know, I mean, for us, it's just work. We're just having fun. But going back to ABS-CBN, no, during that time in 1986, it was, people need to, when you look at ABS-CBN now, it's such a big company. But back then, it was like, how do I describe it? It
Mom and
was
pop. It was
It
very
was
mom
mom
and
and
pop.
pop. It was mom and pop. DZMM was in a shack under a balete tree. No, the
Yeah.
studios we were, PTV4 was on the side, and we were beside PTV4. No, and it was really all the big bosses. Now it was just, I can't. It was like a, you know, when they say, what's your tagline, Kapamilya?
Pamilya, yeah. In the service of the Filipino kapamilya.
Yeah, but we were really like a family of a bunch of people just doing schoolwork. It's like UP moved to ABS-CBN, you know, Cordy Vidanes, Charo, like that. We were just getting by and just,
Fabian Ladino, si Chris Violago,
yeah,
puro UP, puro UP lahat ng tao.
all UP.
I remember when I was recording for Ultraman, we didn't have a recording studio. It was a makeshift recording studio in engineering. That's why I got close to the engineers, sila Melvin Acosta. It was in the basement. We were in the basement. And then it was one of the rooms in the basement that was the recording studio for all the anime. And they were also recording, they were dubbing some of the teleseries there also. Well, there were no teleseries pa there. It was imported, canned TV shows to be dubbed in Tagalog.
Yeah, I think back then may block timers pa, no? Eat Bulaga was still a block timer.
Yes, yeah, may black timers pa nun. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wala na. You can't have that anymore. And
More.
so you ended up being on camera, right? And one reason also, Kim, why I couldn't stay on camera, I couldn't take the hours. You know,
Mm.
even being a director, I didn't have the stamina to
Mm.
be in front of the camera because the hours are long.
Mm.
How did you handle that? Go ahead. Yeah. By the way, guys, Kim just did 50 kilometers this morning. Like the only time I can do 50 kilometers if I drive. I can drive 50 kilometers.
I'm blessed, Robert, because I have many shows in ABS-CBN, but most of my shows are live.
Mm.
When it's live kasi, at least the time is predictable. Like I was part of the morning show for 6.5 years, for 7 years, and the morning show it starts at 5:30 in the morning, but it ends at 8. So you know that at 8 o'clock you're finished.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
nice.
Showtime's a noontime show. It starts at 12. You're done by 3. Now I'm part of TV Patrol. It starts at 6:30. I'm done by 8:30. I have my own show, Matanglawin, which has its own time slot, but I tape and it takes about 1 day or 2 days maximum to tape it. So my time is very predictable. My schedule is hectic, but it's predictable. And that makes a hell of a difference. Kasi to some of our colleagues in ABS-CBN, the teleserye guys,
Yeah.
they're paid to wait. The directors of the teleseries, they're paid to wait. The call time is at 6 in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'm taking them 6 in the morning the next day. And that's how it is.
Wow.
So it's difficult to be part of that group in ABS-CBN. It's very hard work, lalo na the directors, because at least the actors, they can wait in their tents or in their vans and sleep and read a book or watch Netflix or study the script. But the directors and the production people are there all the time within the 24 hours or the 48 hours that they're taping. So it's difficult work. People nga say, they think that it's all glamorous to be on television. Robert, it's so hard.
It's hard.
The directors drop dead from from hard work.
You know, I mean, God bless their souls, no? When I was with Going Bananas, Gilbert Perez,
Yeah,
and then when Deramas, no? I was like, wow. And then
yeah,
they were changing the rules. I'm glad because it's tough. And I was teasing you. I go, dude, I'm going to be on camera again. And
yeah,
I did a commercial last December.
yeah.
Call time was at 5 a.m. I did my part at 2 in the afternoon, right? And I go, I'll just do this for fun. And then, yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
You're paid to wait.
Yeah, paid to
Again,
wait.
no, I love my work, and I'm so thankful to God that He put me in this situation. And you know my story, pa Robert.
That's what
I
I want to hear.
let go na of television, because I wanted so badly to be on cam, and I was getting all these odd jobs being on cam, off cam, but I didn't really have an integral part in any station, especially ABS-CBN. So back in 1993, I got into politics. I ran for barangay chairman because my dad was in politics then. He was already vice mayor of Manila. And then I ran for councilor, and I was a city councilor for 12 years.
That I remember.
Sorry, I was barangay chairman for 3 years and a city councilor for 9 years. So I was in politics for 12 years. And I had my peace in politics. It was good to me, but I was not passionate about it. And I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it for dad because dad was in politics, so therefore son has to be in politics as well. And then the time came when dad was already on his last term and someone needed to replace him, and it happened to be me because I was the one in politics in the family. And like any other politician, I found a way to get to television for exposure. And because our friends then were already bosses in ABS-CBN, we made some phone calls to some good friends of ours, and I suggested to them uh, uh, a segment that I can do. So sabi niya, so what can you do? This was a contact in news and current affairs. Sabi ko, well, the Philippines has no Steve Irwin. That was the time of Steve Irwin, mga 2003, 2004. We don't have a crocodile hunter. I'm good with animals because I was really into animals then pa lang eh. I can be the local Steve Irwin. I can wrestle with these crocodiles in Manila Zoo, and my dad is mayor. We have control of Manila Zoo. I can play with these big mammals, and then it's going to be good television. Really? You can do that? I can do that. Wow. How much are we going to pay you? What's your budget? You don't pay me. Sabi ko, free. Walang bayad. Walang bayad. My agenda was just exposure so I can be on television and run for mayor. Really? And not only that, I told our friend, you know him, not only that, I'll get a sponsor to sponsor the segment that you'll give me. So the segment will make money, No money out because you're not gonna pay me and I'm just gonna be on television. That's all I want. Wow, syempre, super good deal. Let's try it out. So they gave me a segment in the morning show called Magandang Umaga Bayan. That was with Julius and Tintin, also from Mascom.
Yeah.
This was in 2004. The title of the segment then was Animalandia, where I was doing Steve Irwin stuff. I was wrestling with crocodiles, handling all these big snakes, running after the ostriches in Manila Zoo. And it was good TV. It was such good TV that it was rating so high. Siyempre, it's the first time it's done in the Philippines. That's why I wear a hat because that hat is the Steve Irwin hat. I was copying him And then after about maybe 5 months of doing this, my boss in ABS then was Maria Reza. And Maria told me, Kim, I like what you do. You're actually very good on television. But I also know what you're doing. You are using news and current affairs for your own political agenda because you are running for political office. And that is not allowed. Booking. Because, okay. But, Maria said this, I like what you do and I like your style. Here's a contract. She showed me a contract. I want you to sign this and work for me and you'll get a salary. But if you decide to run for politics, you can't be on television. You got to make a choice, Mr. Atienza. So because I was flattered and flabbergasted and also afraid. So I said, Maria, give me time to think. Can I think about it? Okay, I'll give you a few weeks. Yeah, so it ended there. And then I kept on doing my segment in the morning show, but this time my producer, Noel Ferrer, was making me do not only animals, I was also doing people. I was live every day. Animalandia was taped, but I was live every day going around interviewing different personalities. And I was assigned to interview Ka Ernie Baron. You remember Ka Ernie?
Oh, yes.
Ernie Baron. I was going to give him an award for being an icon in the industry. So I went to his house in Parañaque. He was seated under his pyramid on the 4th floor of his building. And I went, magandang umaga, bayan. Magandang umaga ka, Ernie Baron. Nandito ako ngayon para bigyan kayo ng award para sa inyo po ito. You know what he said? This was live on TV, recorded. Bata, di ko kailangan ng award. Pero alam mo, pwede na akong magpahinga. Pwede na akong mamatay. Kasi meron na akong kapalit. And then he put his arm on my shoulder. Ikaw ang papalit sa akin. Man, Ka Ernie Baron anointed me on national television.
You know, whenever you tell that story, yeah, I still get goosebumps, and I know how important that was to you.
Yeah. You know how important it was because it was a turning point in my life. The first thing I did was I prayed. I said, Lord, that was a sign. It's a very clear sign. But now give me courage. Courage to tell my dad and my
Tell
family.
your dad. To tell your dad.
I'm replacing Ka Ernie Baron and him.
And not...
How difficult that was, Robert?
How do you do it? That's a tough conversation to have.
Tough conversation to have, but I did. I invited Dad to my house with Feli. No? We were there, my wife and I, and then Dad was there with my mom, and I couldn't tell him, Robert. I was so emotional, and I was afraid also how he'd react. My dad's a very strong man; he's very alpha. I said, Dad. Then my dad said, Kim, you don't have to tell me.
Oh.
You know, whenever I watch you on television, I see how happy you are.
Wow.
I see how glowing you are on television. I think you found your vocation. Don't worry about me, your family, your mom will be okay. I give you my blessing. You be on television. That's your world.
Wow.
He gave me blessing without me even asking for it. You know, I gave him a tight hug and we were crying that morning. It was an emotional morning. But that was the start of Kuya Kim on television. This was in 2006. That's the time I signed the contract already. They gave me the morning show, Magandang Umaga Pilipinas. They gave me TV Patrol to replace Ka Ernie Baron. And then they gave me my show, Matanglawin. And then 3 years after that, they gave me Showtime. So that's the story of Kuya Kim on television. It was supernatural, Robert.